there. Thanks for spending some time with me today. My name is John. I am the owner of Kavanaugh Media. I work with a great group of people like Alan and Cherry, Casey, Sean, and others. And the people that we consider part of what we do as a business's mission are people like you. People working in the field to make Jesus known, to make him famous. And so whether this is your first time listening to the podcast or watching the show, or you are a regular listener, watcher, whether we already work with you in a client type of relationship, or maybe we've just never met yet to this point, thank you for spending some time with me today. The purpose of this show is to help you leverage social media, to leverage digital engagement and outreach, and to leverage technology to find seekers. I believe with all of my heart that there are people around the world that want to know Jesus, that are seeking, and we need to find those people, connect them up with someone, online, offline, every possible way, so that they in turn can hear the good news, respond to it in faith, be baptized, be discipled, be gathered together into the body of Christ. That's my hope. That's what I am hoping for you, wherever you are, whether it's a church, a mission team, however you're lifting up the name of Jesus. I hope that this show is going to help you be able to learn how to do that. Now, we're closely getting up closer and closer to the 200 episode mark. So we're right around 170 or so. This show today will be actually a two-part one. And then we're also going to have one where I'm going to begin to introduce to you some of the people on our team, because I'm proud of them. I love the people that I get to spend life with and work with, and I think you're going to like them as well. Plus, they're going to have some insights, trainings, things that they know that they're going to be sharing with you as well. So that's coming up in the near future. Today's topic, though, is going to be two parts, and that is this idea of running A/B test. So to run an A/B test is to, in your ads, maybe you're running two different ads. Could be your creative, could be the video, maybe you use a picture and a video, maybe it is your copy, maybe you have different text, maybe it's your headlines, maybe it's your audience. Maybe you're trying out two different audiences, maybe men versus women, Apple versus Android, desktop versus mobile. Lots of different things that you can do. The key here is that we're testing. It's really important to always be trying things out and see what's working and then do more of that, okay? And just because something works doesn't mean it's going to continue to work. This is really important. There are people and teams and orgs that we get to work with sometimes, and they've learned one way to do it. But what happens when that doesn't work anymore, or when the rules change, or when even the techniques or the targeting changes? What are you going to do? So we need to be into this growth hacking, growth mindset always, where we're just testing and asking questions. OCD, obsessive curiosity disorder. I wonder what would happen if, or I wonder if we do this or that. Well, that's great when it comes to our ads, but what I want to share with you in today's show and in next week's, Lord willing, is that it's possible for you to A/B test on your website as well. It's just the beginning part of your marketing, the paid marketing. That's just the beginning part of the process of identifying seekers. That's the hook part. But then what's happening when they click to go to your website? What's happening when they're engaging with more of your content? Now, let me say a quick thing here. We're going to be showing some screens. So today and next week's episodes might be one where you want to go to our new YouTube channel. It's brand new. So we'd love to get you subscribing and liking it. Please, all right, do that for us. Just help us grow that audience there a little bit. We're also going to put some documents on our Kavanaugh Media site that walks you through this whole process. So we have a bunch of SOPs, standard operating procedures, that we use to walk our whole team through processes that we do. And today's episode is one of those, Google Optimize. A/B testing on your website, but it requires you to have Google Tag Manager set up. I mean, you can do it without it, but really you want to utilize all of these different pieces together. So you need to have your analytics set up. You need to have Google Tag Manager going, and that's what we're going to look at today. Then you need to get it installed. From there, then you can begin to run a lot of different types of experiments. So if you're just listening to the podcast, you may want to click ahead and click over to our Kavanaugh Media site and download the standard operating procedure document that walks you through step by step. Or you may want to go to our YouTube channel, which the link is there on our Kavanaugh Media site. Just click on podcast and then it will take you to this episode, and you can click on the link there, or you can just go to YouTube and search for Kavanaugh Media there. So I just want to tell you that as we're getting started, there's quite a bit of this that's going to require you to maybe look at some stuff. So if you're listening to the podcast, I hope there's still value here for you. You just may want to follow up by going to our Kavanaugh Media site and getting the document, clicking to go to the YouTube channel. All right, so let's talk about this A/B testing. People come to your website and you've got your website set up. It's looking good. Hopefully you've got analytics installed. Maybe all of these processes are done. What are people doing there? Now, I am assuming that you're using a website in your digital engagement. Some of you, and I've heard this from people, think, well, I don't need to. I'm just going to run Facebook ads. I'm just going to run messaging ads. That's great until they stop working. That's like the lowest hanging fruit. Are people ready to message you? People need multiple touches. Google has said it takes 20 or more touches from an e-commerce perspective before someone makes a purchase decision. We're talking about people changing their worldview, their religion. In some ways, their identity to even their culture is being changed and challenged by this. To think that we're going to reach everyone with just running a Facebook ad straight to Messenger just isn't realistic. It's just not going to be the key there. And even if you're putting things on your Facebook page, even if you have a lot of followers, not everyone is going to see your content. Plus, your content gets buried over time. But with a website, they can search and go through it. This is really important. I was working with a team last week, it's a very large church, it's over in the Middle East, and walking through the website so that they could see how different parts of their website would tell them more about their target audience, about who is coming to the website, the content that they're looking at, the search terms they're using. All of those things show us more about those people who are engaging with our content, even before we know who they are. So I really highly recommend having a website. We use instant experiences and lots of other things depending upon which platform we're using. But a website still is something that we at least use in all of our digital engagement activities. So you have a website and people are coming to it from your ads. It could be Google, Facebook, Twitter, wherever. What is happening on your site? So I want to jump into how to set up Google Optimize to run A/B test on your website. And it's technical enough, I'm going to walk through it, that we're going to take 2 episodes to go through it. We're going to set it all up today. I'm going to show you where to go. And then we're going to talk about some actual A/B tests that you could run in the next episode. So let's jump right into it. All right, so first things first, I am in Google Chrome browser. There are other ways to do what I'm going to show you today, but I'm going to show you the way that I use it and that we use it here at Kavanaugh. You can pick and choose, use what parts you want, but it's just easiest for us when we're doing stuff within Google to use their browser. And the reason why is that there are extensions built into it, things that enhance the browser so that it can do things that we want it to do. So first things first, if you're in Google Chrome, is to add the Google Optimize extension. So you will go in your browser and you're going to click and you're going to go to the extension area, and then you will go to Google Optimize. And once you get that extension loaded there on your site, then into your Google Chrome browser, that is, then that's what you need to have, all right? And so you'll turn it on, Everything is good to go there. That's all you have to do at that part. Now, to set up Google Optimize to run on your website, it's going to take you probably 30 minutes or so to get this all set up. Like I said, you go to our website, we have a step-by-step process in case you get lost through this or you need even more extensive information. And you can always watch this video and go back to it. So once you're in, then you need to go to Google Optimize. So when you click on the extension, all right, so you're clicking on extensions, you'll see Google Optimize, and then there's an option where you click on it and you can go straight to Google Optimize. And when you do that, it's going to bring you to a page where I'm already signed up on this example that you see here, but your page is just going to say, welcome to Google Optimize, and there's going to be a blue button that you can click to get started. When you're doing that, all right, you're going to start setting up your settings. So I'm going to click, and this is what it looks like. So you're going to go through all of these, and you're going to set up, first of all, you're going to choose your account settings, which I've already done. Those are going to be clicking on some buttons there, whether or not you want to receive notifications. And if you don't want anything from Google, then make sure you select no thanks there, okay? That's all you have to do. But then you're going to go through, set up your account settings, your country, you will accept the terms of service, there are GDPR requirements, all of those things, all right? Click done, and then you're going to be set to my container page. That's what you're looking at right here. All right, and then the container settings area, the first thing that you're going to need to look at is you're going to just look through your whole thing and you're looking for this part right here. So this is your Google Optimize ID. If you've done Google Analytics, you'll recognize the different things. Now this one is set up as a GTM here. Is this one, this container details that we're doing. All right, and it's got a name to it. So if I come back, I'll click back out of this one. I could create another one. All right, I can create more than one here. There's different things that I can do. But we're going to come through this, and I want you to take note of your Google Optimize ID. All right, what is your ID there? And then you want to make sure that it is set up with your Google Analytics, or whatever way that you're analyzing. Obviously, it works perfect with Google Analytics, and I believe it's working with Google Analytics 4 now as well. So this is kind of a new thing. So you're going to go through this whole process and set this up. All right, so I'm going to skip through this. There's more documents about how to do that in our standard operating procedures. It's going to be on our website, but you're going to set up your Google Analytics. If you haven't done that before, we have some videos on our Kavanaugh Media site, or you can Google it, and there's lots of great training that's out there. Get your Google Analytics installed, and then you're going to set up what views and the measurement part, okay? Then you're going to set up the Google Optimize itself. Now, Optimize, it says here, is installed by adding just a little bit of code to your website. Well, I know that gets kind of crazy when you're doing that sometimes. Maybe you don't have access to it. Maybe you don't know what to do. So what I would recommend is that you use Google Tag Manager. It's one of the beautiful things about Google Tag Manager. And so the way to do that is to go to tagmanager.google.com. tagmanager.google.com, and you are seeing that here if you're watching the video. This is that site. Same thing, you're going to have to sign up for it, get signed in. We have training on this. We have walkthroughs, how to do all of those things, but I've already set it up, so that's selected here, Google Optimize. What you would do, though, is if you're going to do a new one, is you would just click, and you would click right here where it's going to say New. And then you would choose the tag type, and look at all of these options that are over here. Now look, here is Google Optimize. So you will, it's already set up. That's one of the things that I really like about it, and using this Google setup, is that it all works together. So you would click on Google Optimize. This is where you put your container ID. So going back into Google Optimize, that's this ID part that you will have once you've signed up for it. You're going to put that into it and set it all up and give it a name. Now, I'm going to show you, like for ours, when you've done that, you're going to get in there, you're going to put your container ID into it, and then domain settings, Google Optimize, and there's other things that you can do here, but you don't need to do anything at this point on, all right? So there's other stuff that you can do. There's ways to set up when this fires, when it doesn't fire, but keep it simple here. Just get it installed, all right, the tag manager installed, and get it set up for your tag. Now, to install Google Tag Manager, you will need access to your website. You're going to go and install that. And then once you have that in your website, once you get it for the first time, then you're set. Okay, so then you can come back in here to Google Tag Manager and make all sorts of changes, and it will automatically update the information on your website. It's brilliant. I love it. So we have pixels installed. We have event scroll tracking, tagging, Optimize, LinkedIn, Twitter, all sorts of stuff. And it's all happening through our Google Tag Manager here. So we would set up Google Optimize. We would hit the save button, and then we have that done. So what we would need to do then is to set it up to when it fires. Okay? And so at that point, we would set up when it fires on our tag. We're going to set up all of those kind of information that it needs to do. We would then save it. And like I said, we have this all documented with screen grabs so that you can go through it. All right. But this show, we're trying to keep it around 15 to 20 minutes. So I can't dive through all of it, but go check it out. Download the walkthrough. Everything is good. Once you get everything installed and it's firing on all your pages, so it's installed. Google Tag Manager is installed on your website. You've then installed and created this Google Optimized tag. You've set it to trigger on all of your pages. Then you will hit a blue submit button, which then puts it on your website. And then it works. Okay, then it's published. It's running on your site. And once you have that done, it'll take you back to this page. You're going to see that it's added to your site. You can see when it's firing away, and you can test it. All right. So there's ways to check to make sure that all of your tags and everything is firing correctly. So when you've done that, everything is there. You want to test and verify your setup. Then at that point, you're going to be able to set up your Google Optimize test, and that's where it gets really fun. All right, so what you will do, it's installed, and we're just going to show this, and that's going to be it for today, all right, for the sake of time, but you're going to create an experience, and here's where you would give it a name. You would say what website or what pages you want to use this on, and then here's the different types of experiences or tests that we could run. An A/B test, maybe you're trying two different pictures. Maybe you're trying to see whether or not people download a Bible more when the Bible is an example of a Bible in your heart language. Or maybe it's pictures of young women versus young men, depending upon who you're targeting, or moms with kids, or all sorts of different things. You can test that on your website. You can do a multivariate test, though I would not recommend it unless you understand statistical analysis. Redirect test, personalization, bringing up banner templates. There's tons of stuff that you can do. But the A/B test is the thing we're going to do. And so we're going to go into that, and we're going to make a basic A/B test, and then we would hit create. All right, and so once we get into that, now is where we get into the process where we're going to say, what are we going to test? How long are we going to test it? What are we looking for? All of those kind of things. And that's what we're going to look at in next week's episode, Lord willing. So a lot here. I'm giving you a lot that has to be done before we can dive in and use this tool. But it's really powerful if you do it. So go make sure that you have Google Tag Manager, your Google Analytics, then you install Google Optimize, you sign up for it, and you put that little bit of Google Tag Manager for Google Optimize on your website, and now you're good to go. Now you can begin to test, and we will look at that testing next week. All right, so these are some of the preliminaries. You need to go through those, but once you've done that, then you are set to begin to test even on your website what happens when people do something, when they look at a certain video, or they look at a certain landing page, or the buttons are a certain color, just so many different things that we can be testing there on your website. It's really powerful. It gives you good insights as to what is happening, and I really would encourage you to look into it. All these little things can add up to be big changes when they're added up together over time. All right, I hope this helps. Please, as I said, go check out our website if you want to see a step-by-step walkthrough and download the document for this, as well as go to our YouTube page and you can watch this video. You can see the screens that I've been describing to you if you're just listening to the podcast. If you're already here on YouTube, will you press that subscribe button? Will you like it? Will you give us a comment? All right, and same thing, send us messages if there are things you want to be learning about or hearing. We would love to play a part in that and share anything we can. All right, so until next time, keep trying, keep testing. May the Lord bless all of your efforts to make his son famous. Take care, and God bless.